It's that time of year again. Spooky season, full of tricks and treats. Today, we're gonna make a treat. One of my favorites, actually. I've been longing for a pumpkin whoopie pie. Before we do absolutely anything in this kitchen, we have to come over to the oven. First, we gotta turn it on. And then, we gotta set it to 350 degrees, because that's what we're baking at today. Now, we wait. For these whoopie pies, we're gonna break it down into 3 different groups. Dry mixture, wet mixture, and frosting. Let's start with the dry mixture. First, we're gonna need to put in 3 cups of flour. Then after that, we need to put in a tablespoon of both baking soda and baking powder. The baking soda and baking powder is what's gonna help our whoopie pies to rise and get that real dome-like shape. Next, we're gonna put in 1 teaspoon of salt. If you want less, that's fine. After that, you're gonna put in half a tablespoon of ginger, 1 1/2 tablespoons of clove, and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And that's all for the flavor purposes to give it that nice fall pumpkin spice taste. Now it's time to mix. Now that it's all mixed, we can just let this sit on the side. Now we're moving on to the wet mixture. First thing you want to do is start with your 1 cup of oil. Now, after that, you're going to mix in your brown sugar until combined. Now that the brown sugar and oil are combined, we're going to add in our eggs and vanilla.
Now that we've added in the vanilla into our wet mixture, we can now add the pumpkin puree. You're gonna need exactly 1 1/2 cups of this. Let's go. Alright, after getting that pumpkin puree into our mixture, simply let's just mix. Now that we both have a completed wet mixture and a dry mixture, we're just gonna combine the 2 of them. So let's get to it.
Now that we have this dough finished, the next thing we're gonna have to do is we have to portion it out onto our baking trays. Now there's 2 ways to go about this. One, you can use an oil spray such as Pam, or you could use parchment paper. So to show you how to do one of these on a better perspective, we're simply just going to scoop out some batter, whatever you feel is enough. That looks like a good amount. We're just gonna take our finger, simply place it right there, swirl it around until you can sort of come out with a dome shape like such. This is the general shape you're going for. Okay, now that all of your dough is put onto your baking sheet, it's time to chuck this in the oven. That's the time of my timer. It's set for 10 to 12 minutes. We're gonna throw these into the oven. And don't forget to check in on them periodically to make sure that they're not burning. Ooh, look at these. Wow. So you're gonna wanna let those sit for about 5 to 10 minutes because any less than that, they're gonna be way too warm for you to be able to apply the filling on without it melting. It's time for us to make our filling. That's gonna start with an egg white. An egg white is not the yellow part, which is known as the yolk. The white is the part that surrounds the yolk. Now I'm gonna show you how to get it out. Basically, just crack it right into your hand and slowly let your fingers drain the yolk like so. And make sure you have a spare container to put your yolk in if you're saving it. Now for egg whites to work, when you beat them, there can be no trail of egg yolk or else it just won't beat correctly. So here we have our mixer, and let's get to mixing. And just like that, we have beaten our single egg white into all of this mixture. And you know it's ready when these peaks form and do not fall back down. All right, now we're gonna add our 2 tablespoons of milk, our 1 tablespoon of vanilla, our 1 cup out of the 2 cups of powdered sugar. We're going to divide them so there's not as much dry mixture going on. So we're just going to give it a nice little mix. There we go. The vanilla, powdered sugar, and the egg white are now beaten together. Make sure you try to get everything off of the sides just so you can get as much of the mixture as possible. You can see the butter is softened nice and good for mixing. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump this butter in, and then we're going to add that cup of powdered sugar. There you go. Grab our powdered sugar. Just dump that right in. And mix. Now that the frosting is finished, all we have to do is throw it in a piping bag and get to putting them in the middle of these whoopie pies. Now, if you don't have a piping bag at home, don't worry. It's still very easy to fill up your whoopie pies. Get a non-serrated knife, non-serrated, no blades. Get a little bit of filling. Apply. Like so. Now remember, you are putting the 2 pies together, so don't put too much in the middle or else it will expand. And then put your whoopie pie together, and there you go. You've got a whoopie pie.